Alright, so here we got the Babyletto Kiwi glider I purchased on Facebook Marketplace for 150 bucks because their electronics was not working. So I'm going to take you through what we can do, troubleshooting to get it working. And you can see here that I was successful. So I'll take you through what worked for me, and hopefully it will end up working for you as well. Easy fix that everybody was recommending on Reddit is just changing out the power supply. So this guy has a, let's see, 29 volt and 1.8 amp output power supply. And then it's got a little 5-prong outlet. If you look up just a 29 volt power supply on Amazon, you're going to see dozens of solutions. All of them are 1.8 outlets. They'll say recliner power supplies. So I went ahead and purchased one of those guys for about $18. So this one comes with a little green light indicator so that I can rule out that it's the power supply causing any of the issues. All right, so here we are on the bottom side of the chair. We got their main power going into the chair. So I've gotten a replacement for that guy. I just wired it up through there on a similar route. So we'll hook this guy up to the power. And I do have the motor unhooked right now as well. And this motor connection actually splits off and goes up to the remote switch and into the motor. So if we hook that guy back up, we'll actually see that my power supply now goes to a flashing green light. It's very faint. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So that tells me there's a short going on somewhere. And I actually have the remote completely cut off still right now. So it tells me the short is somewhere in this wire. So I did try first thing with the new power supply before I cut off the current remote, and it did give the flashing green light also. So that tells me there's a short going on somewhere, and it was not just the power supply. So we ruled out the power supply. All right, so the next thing I did was took out the little buttons and electronic board to see if there's any issues I could find on there. So to get that off, see it's just got this panel on here. You're going to pry it off, and it's just got double-sided tape all the way around. And it's also got 4 long locating tabs that go into it. So you're going to want to pry it evenly all the way up around. If you just pry off one side, it may end up snapping some of the plastic. So just work your way all the way around that. And then you should find this white casing with just 2 Phillips screws. You undo those, and this should slide right out of there. So this is what we're going to find inside for the electronics. I did give this a once over just to make sure, from what I could see, there was no clear broken solder. These are all through holes, so they're pretty solid. You would be able to know if anything was really loose on here. So I didn't see any major issues. I also took the connector off, and all of the wires were in there pretty good. I know you're thinking, you know, pretty unfixable, but I did buy a new set of connectors to replace that if it was an issue. So got this on Amazon for 12 bucks, just a wide variety. All we need is the 6-pin connector, so we could easily replace with just some basic soldering. You can get a solder iron on Amazon for 12 bucks also, so pretty quick and easy if that was the issue. But I wanted to order just a new button and see if that was going to be a fix first. So we will try the new button out next. All right, so this is what I found on Amazon. So it still has the USB-C, as well as USB output for charging, just the two-way button. So I'll link a link to this at the top of the comments section on the YouTube channel there, and then just a nice cover plate. So before we get this all installed, we'll plug it in just from underneath, see if it works first, and see if that's our issue. Now we've got the new remote. I'm going to give that a go. So before I get this routed all the way through, we're just going to plug it right in here underneath direction and give it a go from down here underneath. Aha. And we have success. Perfect. So now we'll get this routed and hopefully it fits. All right, so to get our new switch routed through, I've just taken the old wire and tied it around because I don't want to have to deal with trying to feed it down in this hole through the armrest and down in there. So it's sealed up pretty good back in here. All of the linings are stitched in and it's just coming through a tiny little slit in the fabric in there. It's obviously not very easy to run it by hand, so hopefully we can just pull this through there. All right, so we're going to try to guide it from both directions here. Maybe not. Okay, so update, pulling it through from both sides did not work. So I just cut away some of the fabric, started to follow this, and I actually see it comes out right there and tucks back up into the arm. So we're going to try and see if we can't pull it from there to get it going. Okay, so after tugging at this guy, it is not budging. This arm is on pretty... Okay, so a little update to why I couldn't get this cord going through here. There is some sort of electrical box that's tied between it and the remote. Probably doing some sort of control or power converting. But our new switch does all of that, so I think this is just in here via double-sided tape. So we're going to try and pry that out of there. Okay, so this electrical box here was not coming off. So I was actually able to just cut away a little bit more of the fabric. It's hidden, it's not going to be an issue. And just snake the new wire down and through the hole, and I was able to get my hand in there just enough to grab it and pull it through. So I think what we're going to do is just tuck away the current wire. It's not going to hurt anything being inside there, and then just get the new one hooked up and we should be good to go. So now I'm just going to run and grab some zip ties, get this thing routed safely so we don't have any pinch points, and then get it running. All right, once you get this new cable in here, make sure you throw some zip ties on there to route it. I was not able to fit it where the original wire was routed. It was a little too tight to get the connector through there. So just make sure you're zip tying it in a safe area so that it's not at any pinch points when you're going to be actually running the recliner and having all these joints moving. All right, we were so close to fitting in the hole here. It is probably a 1/4 inch, maybe just under a 1/4 inch too tight. With the fabric over, I'm just gonna try and chisel a little bit of material away from the edges, get it to slide in there. All right, we got a nice, clean, finished look here. Button's working well. can't even tell it didn't come up as part of the chair when you first ordered it. Okay, if the remote switch and the power cable don't work for you, that means it's only one thing left, and it's going to be the motor. So what we're going to be searching for on the motor is this HKDTP electric push-pull motor. You're going to want to pay attention to the stroke distance. So this one looks like it's probably about a 12-inch or so stroke distance. So you're going to look for something similar to that. And you want this bracket to be the same. There's a few different options available for this bracket. So you're going to want this white one that goes full surround. And then you're going to want it extending out of both directions. So you can see this attachment here. And that's what's going to be the second action, pushing the recliner, actually reclining back after the footrest is all the way up. I'm not going to take this apart because mine's working, but I'm sure there are lots of videos I've seen out there with replacing these motors on recliners. So definitely just search one of those for some pointers on how to work this into a basic recliner.